It's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. Today I've got something really cool. It's very special. So a number of weeks ago, I was approached on Reddit by Yatara, I believe is their tag. I'm just confirming that. Yeah, Yatara. Well, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's just how I'm pronouncing it. And they said to me, they really wanted to send me something that they'd been working on to review. And, I was just like, oh, of course, more than happy to. And it came in the mail. I kind of got this and I was just like, I'd forgot about it, right? Because there was a bit of a time delay in between when it was actually sent to me receiving it. And I didn't recognize it because of the actual country of origin. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is what came, and it was in non-English, and I didn't really recognize it at all. And I was like trying to figure out what it was, and then I was just looking at the package going, well, I don't really know what it was. And then I felt the squareness of it, the size of it, that you can kind of see this bump here, and I figured it out. So I want to say thank you very much to Yatara for actually sending me this, and we're going to check it out. But before I open it up, what on earth am I being so cryptic about? Well, I'm talking about this. This is really cool. I love this concept. They are SA Braille homing keys. And for those who aren't familiar with Braille, it's essentially raised dots on things in a certain pattern that allows people who are vision impaired to be able to identify and essentially communicate through lettering using the dots. I did have a very brief conversation about their intent to perhaps expand this concept and end up with a full set in Braille, and they said it was certainly one of the long-term goals that they had. So, but at the moment, I think this is a really great starting point, and it can add a bit of accent and whatnot. So we can see already here there's a couple of different colors, and the cool thing is, at least for the F and the J, they are just turned around, right? So they're just rotated to each other in that pattern. And SA row 3 works really well for that because you don't have to worry about the actual profile. I would say that Braille versions of this for any flat uniform profile would also work, such as DSA or like I think is it MT3 is also a flat one, and stuff like that. I think CAT is a flat one. So any of those would work really, really well conceptually for this. So I'm quite excited to see how these turn out. So there's some additional pictures, and you see, as I said, right, like it has that case, which is kind of what gave it away on exactly what it was. The thing that we should be very aware of is these are casted, right? So there are going to be some imperfections and things like that. So I can already see that there's some bubbles and stuff like that in the pictures. I'm not going to be too worried about that if I see them on these at all. So let's actually crack this open and see what we've got. Exciting. Ooh, okay, we've got a... Now, I feel like I may be pronouncing the name correctly, Yatara, because it has like a Japanese-esque feel to it for me. And Brazil actually has, I think, the largest population of Japanese people outside of Japan for some number of historical reasons. So having this card kind of also fits into that thought process. Now, I think this might be a postcard or something. I don't know what's on the other side. No, it's just holes punched. And I was going to say that I can see that there's Braille on here. I can't read Braille, so the meaning to this is kind of going to be lost upon me, but the sensation in trying to pick it out, man, it must be quite challenging to learn it. But I suppose if you don't have any vision in the first place, then, well, it's something that you would learn instinctively simply because that's just how it is. Of course, if you lose your vision and then you have to learn it from scratch, then that would be also quite challenging. Now, of course, I could kind of potentially cheat and just flip it over and then inverse this image and try and figure it out. But I'm guessing it's probably going to be some kind of thank you message, maybe, perhaps, I hope. So I can see down here there's already the F and J that's represented here. I actually don't even know what the size of the grid is. I think it could be a 3x3 potentially, because the spacings here is actually quite challenging for me to figure out what's counted in a pattern or not. So it's hats off to those who are actually capable of reading Braille. So here it is. I've been sent a black set, which is really nice. I like the case. The case is actually well suited for this. Would work fantastic as a little mini artisan delivery case, bit of bubble wrap. Whoa, wow. Okay, so we're talking about above and beyond, because I saw it in the pictures and I didn't really think too much about that. But check it out. There is a 3D printed base here, and I'm very familiar with this type of patterning from 3D printing. And there is Braille that is also 3D printed on the bottom here, right? Which is really cool. And obviously I don't know what those letters are. I'm not quite sure what they are. But we've also got the actual F and J caps themselves here. And to be honest, like with my eyes closed, I know what I'm feeling and I'm trying to visualize it, but if I just put my fingers on that, I can tell they're different, but I don't have the sensitivity to distinguish them very well. Like, I can feel that the cornering is different, but man, trying to understand some of the more complicated ones, it's just mind-boggling, right? How capable people are to actually read Braille. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. So, looking at the keycaps themselves, they're very well formed. The outer surfaces and textures are really fantastic, and it makes me wonder, are these actually cast? They look and feel like actual legitimate, signature plastic caps. They very well could be, and the holes are drilled, but then they don't look like they are glued or embedded in. So if we, okay, so there's a bit of a clue there. So alright, so let's have a look at the underside of this. Okay, so we've got a good thickness and stem, and it's rounded off, and there is some kind of patterning there. But the clue here is the striations on the underside show that there's 3D printing that has been involved with that as well. Now there's the bubbles, the micro bubbles that I was talking about on the edge of this cap. I'm not too fussed about it. It's not really a big deal. And you can see on the actual edges that the mold for this cap has caught all of that 3D printed molding on it. And then they've obviously, done something to smooth it out and to clean it up in their actual design. So it's very solid because there's that much of depth here that is probably completely filled, right? Because that's quite short, like a DSA height, and then you've got like a good 5 mil of SA keycap on top. Wow, pretty cool. I really like that. So just gonna get this dusty boy out. It's pretty dusty. As you can tell, I haven't actually done much switch or keycap reviews lately. So let's not use the box name because that's going to be a cap cracker. Let's go with this cherry black here in the corner and try the fitment test. Oh, it's very loose. It's extremely loose. Whoop. Alright, let's change the axes. Super loose. Oh well. It's okay. Is this one any better? It is gripping a bit better, but it's also still quite loose. You know, I'm not fussed about it because having produced my own keycaps before in the past and casted resin caps and things like that, it is just something that you have to be aware of. And for tolerances, it's really tricky. Now there was a sensation of grip that was actually noticeable when I put these on, and I wonder if it's because parts of this being 3D printed and then molded, there's the ridge lines inside the actual stem that I'm not really... Now I don't have my secondary camera set up, so I'm not going to be able to get into it super deeply. I'm just seeing if I can find my loop, which is back here. Okay. All right. Let's have a look to see. See, I'm not quite sure what systems they've used, and I don't know if it's resin printed or if it's... because the lines on this actually run differently, and it makes me think this could be like made using a resin printer or like a Z-butt, like some kind of TX type insert, because I don't see the striations in the same way. Like there is patterning on it, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. In any case, it's very close to what it needs to be. As you saw, you know, they are a little bit loose, but you can kind of fix that, right? Would you rather them being slightly loose or too tight and cracking and breaking? You know, so, you know, I think it's dependent on the stem. Obviously this kale red, kale brown, oh, so it came off the brown pretty easily, whereas this frozen switch and the cherry black, you know, it popped off super easy, super easy. Look, it's nothing to be too worried and concerned about because most people aren't going to be flicking their switches anyway. It's really just going to be if you're hammering it hard enough or fast enough, if they're going to be potentially popping up. And you can fix that by either a little bit of plastic or putting a bit of wax on top of your stems and whatnot, and then it'll give it that additional grip. The bumps are really well formed, and yeah, they've got good definition on them. Good definition on them. Cool. So, I love the concept. I love the look. It's super clean. Color-wise, I think obviously there could be more choices when they're being produced for suitable colors. And conceptually, it's fantastic. I would love to see a full set, and it would also help bring awareness to... whoa. They're bouncy. I thought they were hard resin, but they're squishy. What? Okay, so I'm gonna get the focus on here, right? And if I don't know if it's gonna show up very well, but these are they're squishy. They're bouncy. I don't think they're glued on. I'm almost lost for words. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that post actually describes what they've got. Okay, so they definitely are using the Z-butt system, which is described down here. right? Which is not an issue. But it doesn't talk about it. So they're made from epoxy resin cast without pressure chamber, and that's fine. But it doesn't talk about that these bumps are squishy. Now, is it just because the resin isn't cured properly on these? Or did they use a different kind of resin? What? Hey, if this is accidental, if this is incidental, then that's actually really cool. If it's deliberate, then that's still really cool. Oh man, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, well that was a really cool discovery today, and I really like this presentation and this holder. I think it works really well. Just a very, very short stub that helps hold them in place. And I think finding this container, you know, I don't know who supplies this container, but that's actually, it's beautiful fitment for it. Like, it does have a bit of rattle, which is why the bubble wrap's there, but it's a good size. I mean, even if you made it one so the cap sits in the middle, that actually works out really lovely as well. And if you just had a bit of foam, it didn't even have to be bubble wrap, I suppose, then it's very, very good in doing its job. I suppose if you had some kind of standoff, or actually this is for improvement ideas. If you see this, Yatara, I hope you see this. Maybe on your base that's printed, you could actually have like corner pieces that come up to the height of the lid, so you don't need to use that, right? I know that these are 3D printed, but if you were going to do a lot of these, you could potentially cast these in resin as well. And then that way, when you drop it in and you close it, that bottom 3D printed piece right now would be in contact with the lid, and it would remove the need to have this entirely. So that's just, you know, like a reverse standoff situation that pins it in place. Because once you open it up, right, and whatnot, and you're reaching in, the corners aren't really going to get involved. They're not going to get in the way. Okie dokie. There you go. There is the homing keycaps, the Braille homing keycaps by Yatara CC, all the way from Brazil. Which is really cool. Which is really cool. I love the card and the punching. Might have to ask you what it actually means, but yeah, we'll get there. Thank you very much, Yatara CC. I really appreciate it. I think you've done some fantastic work there. And if you out there watching this video like these keycaps as well, please make sure you follow and check out any of the future sales. And of course, if you want to be making your own keycaps and whatnot using the ZButt system, they also have a Discord, which I'm part of, but I only kind of lurk there more so than anything else. You can head out over there and get a lot of assistance in developing, designing, casting your own artisan keycaps. So if you like this video, please smash that like button below. Hit that subscribe button if you want to, help me out and boost my numbers. And of course, hit that bell button if you want to get notifications for when we have new content. So thanks for checking out the video. And of course, as usual, until next time, happy clacking.